Menopause. So many women have this fear of reaching menopause. The thought of menopause is accompanied with all those thoughts of, hot flushes, night sweats, low libido, the gain of abdominal fat. And we enter menopause, women enter menopause with all that fear, and it just manifests into exactly what they believe. Number one, menopause is not an illness. Menopause will happen to you if your reproductive system is intact as you reach an age. It usually happens in the late 40s or the early 50s. It's a different thing that today it's happening at the age of even 42 and 43 in women. Sometimes induced medication causes that, or certain conventional treatments. Otherwise, it's just poor lifestyle. You see, you can be in control of how you want your menopause to be depending on how you live your lifestyle right now. You can't reach the age of 48 or 49 and then decide, let me make changes in my lifestyle, let me start eating well, let me start losing a bit of weight, and expecting your body to respond to you and have a good, healthy menopause. What you do today is exactly how your body will behave for you 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line. For example, Alzheimer's, dementia, it just doesn't happen. If it's going to happen to you when you age, the process has already started happening now. For example, you have chronic low levels of B12. You have the wrong kinds of fats in your body. You have too much of junk. You have too much of weight. The process of Alzheimer's and dementia has started right now and will manifest into the disease 15 to 20 years down the line. Cancers just don't happen. They're already happening in that person's body before they manifest themselves and appear as a biomarker on your medical parameters. The same thing with menopause. Go back to our parents and our parents' parents. Their period just stopped. They didn't get it for a year. They sailed through menopause. Some of them didn't even know it's called menopause because they didn't have all this society gossip about menopause and women trying to take excessive supplements and hormone blockers and hormone replacement therapy to prepare the body for a healthy menopause. In fact, all the women who do that suffer through worse menopauses, and they have other functions, they have other issues like diabetes, weight gain, osteoporosis, heart disease, and everything else. You see, you can't interfere with the intelligence of the human body. There are no shortcuts when it comes to a hormonal imbalance. So the process of menopause is just a change in your hormones. Women will understand this because you go through your period cycle. It's different at the start, it's different in between, it's different at the end because your hormones are going through fluctuation. There's a time when your estrogen is high, your progesterone is low. Then your progesterone goes high, your estrogen is low. Hormonal fluctuation, no issues, that's how the human body works. The same thing with menopause, where your estrogen starts going lower and lower, and we begin to start pumping in synthetic estrogen in the human body, never knowing that that is the cause of the loss of your bone density. It is the cause of most breast cancers post-menopause, because you cannot interfere with the intelligence of the human body. But I'm here today to tell you that there are simple things that you can do to prepare yourself for a healthy menopause. And you don't wait until you're in your 40s or 50s. You start right now. We have to understand that when you go through menopause, your chances of osteoporosis, your chances of diabetes, your chances of heart disease and obesity is much higher. Because I keep telling people, when it comes to weight gain and all the diseases that I just mentioned, it is not just about the food that you eat, the diet that you're on, or the exercises that you do. It's about hormonal balance. You have hormones in your body. The function of a hormone are, just think of them as chemical messengers that are constantly telling your cells how to behave. They're constantly communicating between trillions of cells in the human body. So you have the right hormonal balance, you have the right communication and the right messages being sent between these trillion cells. You have the wrong hormonal balance, you have miscommunication and the wrong messages being sent to trillions of cells, which is affecting the way your hair looks, how fast your hair falls, your weight, your skin, your liver function, your heart, your bone density, everything, including your emotions, the way you feel, irritability, frustration, depression, everything is connected with your hormonal imbalance. So we want to aim to have a lifestyle where we can balance our hormones the right way. So we look at calcium and D3. We need to have the right levels of calcium and the right levels of D3, two things that most of us are deficient in. This doesn't mean that you go and start popping calcium, because we all know that synthetic calcium also leads to kidney stones and oxalates in the human body and gallstones and all of those things. You can get sufficient calcium from calcium-rich foods if you're eating a normal diet, a balanced diet. I'm not talking about high protein, low carb, ketogenic, none of that. I'm talking about a balanced diet which has fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and a balance of cooked foods in the right quantity for your type of body, and you will have sufficient calcium. You also have the right amount of D3, because most people are today deficient of D3. Number one, because they don't hold on to D3. Number two is we don't have sunlight. Number three, D3 is found in very few foods. We have to get it from the sunlight, or we have to get it through supplementation. If you have the right gut health, you synthesize D3 the right way and your body holds on to it. If you have low levels of D3, the body can't hold on to calcium. So calcium and D3 go hand in hand. So we got to make sure that we have a holistic balanced diet to get the right amount of calcium and the right amount of D3. Then we look at omega-3. Now you can get omega-3 from vegetarian sources like walnuts and flax seeds, or non-vegetarian sources like fatty fish. If you can't get it from your diet, you supplement omega-3. Extremely important when it comes to preparing your body for a healthy menopause. You look at your weight. Most women start to putting on that weight around their midriff area, and it is very difficult to lose as you're going through menopause, because then you're fighting a hormonal fluctuation, which is why if you've not yet reached menopause, I tell people at the age of 30, 35, just don't get married, have a great body before marriage, and then lose it all that, lose it post-marriage. Because that abdominal fat that you put on due to poor lifestyle, a sedentary lifestyle, excessive eating, okay, the more abdominal fat you build, okay, the more hormonal imbalance you have. Women who have a lot of abdominal fat store more estrogen. So forget about waiting for menopause. You already have an imbalance in your body. So you want to make sure, I'm not saying get a six-pack, I'm not saying have a flat tummy. I'm saying you want to be aware that you lose abdominal fat the healthy way and the right way. It's extremely important to prepare yourself for a healthy menopause. Because most women tending to get depressed when they hit menopause because they put on abdominal fat. And like I said, it's okay, you will put on abdominal fat. But if you're building a great metabolism and you have everything in balance, it's easy to lose that abdominal fat the right way. But if you waited to reach the age of 45 and 50, where your metabolic rate has fallen already, you don't have the right amount of lean mass, which helps you burn body fat, it's going to be an uphill task for you, but it's not impossible. We want to look at fruits and vegetables. So I tell all women, at least once a month for a week, go raw till lunch, which means you wake up and you have only raw food to lunch. It's simple. You do fruits, you do vegetables, you do vegetable juices, you do almonds, cashew nuts, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds. Go raw till lunch, because this is fantastic for balancing your hormones and increasing the amount of digestive enzymes, which further helps you break down food the right way. It is fantastic for hormonal imbalance. So there are a lot of people who have made going raw till lunch a lifestyle. You can do it once a month for a week, and that helps you as well. You're hitting menopause, go raw till lunch, and you'll find that you handle menopause more efficiently. There are trigger foods which you have to avoid or minimize when you're hitting menopause. One is caffeine, alcohol, white sugar, and spicy food. Okay, because all of these, again, cause fluctuation in your hormonal levels. So you want to make sure that you balance these trigger foods as you're preparing for menopause or you're going through menopause. Exercise is extremely important. I'm talking about light, decent exercise for your body, because too many people today are over-exercising, destroying their joints, causing degeneration in their bones and spines, and no amount of exercise is going to give you the perfect body unless you have the right amount of recovery and the right nutrition that is talking to the intensity of your program. As you're reaching menopause, you want to make sure that you're more active, because you start losing bone density. Estrogen is required for bone health. As estrogen starts decreasing, your bone density starts decreasing, which is why you have a higher chance of osteoporosis. I said a higher chance. I didn't say that you have to get it. It is easily preventable. So any weight-bearing exercise like walking, push-ups, squats, doing a little bit of weights, Pilates, yoga, these are weight-bearing exercises that will increase your bone density. Eating food that's rich in phytoestrogens. I'm not talking about soy. I'm completely against soy. I'm talking about flax seeds, sesame seeds, your bean family. You know, your rajma, your chana, all of your black beans, your kidney beans, nuts, and cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, kale if you live abroad. Then you have your cauliflower and you have your cabbage. These are sulfur-rich vegetables which help you balance hormones the right way in your body, and they help you detoxify. Your water intake is extremely important because water will prevent dryness. Estrogen needs water to function the right way. So when women go through vaginal dryness and lose their libido and all of these things, it doesn't have to happen. And if it happens, you can minimize the time that you have to suffer with that. Most people have less water in their systems. Water is 90% of your body. Every one of those trillion cells and hormones require water as a medium to function. So you got to make sure that you have the right amount of water. Today people are pumped up on stimulants like tea and coffee and caffeine. You have to understand these work as diuretics. It's flushing out water from your system. So you got to make sure that you're putting water back into your system as well. Probiotics, prebiotics will help you for sure because your gut health is directly connected with your hormonal health. For example, E3, which is estriol, is made in your gut. So if you have the wrong gut health, you're not making the right hormones, which means you have a hormonal imbalance. So you got to have the right amount of probiotics, prebiotics. You can get this from natural fruits like fruit, yogurt, kimchi, or you can take a supplement if you want. It's completely up to you. You know, some supplements definitely help when it comes to menopause. I'm not against supplements. I'm not against vitamins because we live in a world where everything is contaminated. But you got to be aware that there are good supplements and there are bad supplements. There are good quality supplements and bad quality supplements. There are synthetic vitamins and then there are plant extract vitamins, and these make a big difference. So evening primrose oil, something called black cohosh, omega-3, a good prebiotic, a good probiotic as a supplement can help you get through a better menopause or prepare yourself for a better menopause. If you can get it from foods, fantastic. That should be your first choice. You want to make sure that you have a protein-rich diet. I'm not saying a high-protein diet, a protein-rich diet when you're preparing for menopause. Because over here, your body fat's going to increase with the amount of estrogen fluctuation in your body. But the more lean mass you have, the more muscle mass you have, which has a requirement for protein, will decrease that amount of abdominal fat that you have. So you want to make sure that you're getting enough of protein during your breakfast, lunch, and dinner as well. Sadly, what I see in society today is the mid groups. It's usually alcohol when you're a teenager, alcohol when you're in university and your 20s and 30s and 40s. But today you see people in their 50s and 60s overdoing it with alcohol, okay? Trying to live an age that they're not. Okay, now the problem that I have with this is you need to understand that alcohol depletes your gut bacteria. If you're depleting your gut bacteria, you're increasing your chances of a hormonal imbalance. So you need to understand if you're drinking, don't abuse it. Don't do binge drinking and don't have this habit of having to socialize every time and drink every time you socialize. You have to understand that your body is aging. As much as you think you want to look like that young girl who's in her 20s or 30s and stuff like that, you're not. You got to accept life. You got to accept the stages of life, and you got to gracefully accept aging and understand that your body is aging as well. No amount of ads and trips to Viva Maya's and all the fancy spas in the world is ever going to biologically make you anti-age. You can look beautiful and young and think young thoughts and have all of these things and behave and have the energy of a youngster if you eat well, you exercise well, you sleep well, and you keep your mind free of stress or with minimum stress. That is true beauty, which reflects itself on the outside as well. But today you have these women who say, oh, I'm going through menopause, and they don't want to give up their alcohol. Only by reducing their alcohol or stopping the alcohol for a couple of weeks will help that menopause get better for them, because it's all about balancing their hormones. But we live in a world where I understand today we use coping mechanisms of alcohol and drugs and all of these things to feel better about ourselves. Which is why it's so important to understand that meditation also plays a big role when it comes to your menopause. One is accepting that your body is going to go through change. But most women and men today as well, are in denial. So that itself creates anxiety and stress, and then you're constantly suggesting, looking for quick fixes that can anti-age you without understanding that that's within your control. What you put in your mouth is either aging you or making you look younger and feel younger. The more rest you have, the more energetic you feel. I know an 80-year-old person who can dance like from a sunrise party to sunset, like a sunset to a sunrise party. And young kids today and young girls today can't do it without depending on alcohol and drugs and all of these things. That's called body energy, cellular energy. And you want to build that right now. So I'm not saying party, do what you want, but don't abuse your bodies, because that's why women today are going through difficult menopauses. That's why women are hitting menopause much, much earlier, because they're messing up their life right now. Your life, every cell, every organ, every muscle, your knee, your joints has wear and tear. It is going to age the more you use it. So use it, but use it the right way. Which is why your exercise program, you'll find women hitting their mid-40s and 50s in the gym, lifting heavy weights and doing all that stuff. That's what you see on TV programs. That's what the West has shown us. The West has shown us pregnant women jogging in their 7th month, and the world believes that, oh wow, it's great. They don't show you the mess that these people have in their lives through their pregnancy and post-pregnancy, because they've abused their body during pregnancy, trying to show the world that they can lift heavy weights and run marathons when they're pregnant. But you come back to traditional Indian culture, the moment a woman is pregnant, she enters a state of rest. She was sent back to a village, so she rests. She doesn't do work because there's a life growing in you. You need all that energy. And here you are trying to mess up your life. And I have women who are signing up for pregnancy programs, not bothered about their journey of pregnancy, but bothered about how soon they'll lose weight post-delivery. Wrong mindset, it's never going to work for you. Just don't have a kid. As simple as that. Be happy. So my whole point is, this is where we've reached. We've aped the West and all of these things. Be gentle with your body. Some of the fittest people in the world walk, they do yoga, they're active, they eat simple food, they get a good night's sleep, they don't pop supplements and all these things, and they have beautiful bodies. Externally, they have beautiful hearts. Internally, and this is what we got to strive to be as human beings. So it requires a lot of introspection, which is why I always say meditate, because the only strength that you can get to make these decisions, to let go and accept society and all this crap and living within different masks of ourselves, that only strength to make that decision comes from within. Otherwise, we're just aping everyone, comparing our bodies with everyone, comparing our lives, our finances, our success with everyone else. And it's not about what you eat. Today, it's not about what you eat. It's really about what's eating you from inside. You can be eating organic and flying all your food from Whole Foods in the US, but it doesn't matter. It's what's eating you inside. And it's all of these things like self-esteem, jealousy, envy, comparison with one another that's eating us from inside, robbing the soul of nutrition. And that's why we have all these problems. That's why our parents and our ancestors sailed through menopause. There's no difference. Nothing changed. They still manage children. They manage their finances. We have technology to make our life easier. It's made it worse. So sometimes you got to sit back, introspect, and keep it simple and be real. Prepare your body for menopause. It's not an illness. It's part of it. If you're going to jump and take quick fix hormones, I can promise you, you are going to have problems. If you try to interfere with the intelligence of the human body, okay, you're pushing your body against that set point. Once you push it too far, your body's going to snap and you're going to have every problem possible in this world. Go back to nature, align, have the best of both worlds. I'm not saying don't party. I'm not saying don't drink. I'm not saying do everything. But figure out if it's your coping mechanism. Okay, there are other ways to cope with stress. There are other ways to cope with problems today. If you need a glass of alcohol to be someone at a party, you're at the wrong party. It's as simple as that. So sometimes you got to reduce things in your life to grow and evolve, not just spiritually, emotionally, physically, mentally, and intellectually as well. There is nothing wrong with estrogen. The problem is too much of estrogen. And when people try to block estrogen, they have more problems. Estrogen is required for your brain function. It's required for your bones. It's required by your liver to regulate cholesterol in the human body. It's required for your skin. So you try to block cholesterol, which is why I'm so against tamoxifen. That's a whole different video. When you try to block a hormone, like a statin blocks cholesterol, the side effects are detrimental to your health. You don't block the body from producing what it needs. You change your lifestyle and you understand what is causing my body to produce too much of it or too less of it, and you fix your life. The drug is lifestyle. Have a great day, everyone. Until next time, eat smart, move more, sleep right, and breathe deep.